Hi, everybody. This is Dawn Mitchell, and welcome to Dawn of Sports and Happy New Year.
Yes, it is a happy new year. This will be a end of the year and also a beginning of the year show. We will recap a lot of what happened in 2024, but we'll also look forward to the Vikings. A lot of really cool developments in the sports world and the world of women's sports. This is Dawn of Sports. We're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studios. Thanks to our sponsors, Rudy Luther Toyota, Minnesota Masonic Charities, and Natrium, natrium.com. Best way to listen to this show or any of our many great shows at talknorth.com. Please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. It's free. It's the easiest way to listen, and we do appreciate you listening. We've grown the network a lot, in part thanks to great hosts like Dawn. We also have some cool plans for this year. You'll be seeing some interesting developments at talknorth.com, and we highly encourage you to stick with this show. Dawn has, today's show will be a little unusual. We try to have guests because Dawn gets such great guests. Today it's going to be just Dawn and I talking about the year past and what's ahead going on here. But I really recommend going back to Dawn's archive at talknorth.com and looking through all the great guests she's had. Mike Tirico, Jim Cott, and then so many women who are successful in the sports world, in the business world, in the media world, who can tell the story of how they made it where they are today, how difficult the journey was, how rewarding it was. I just go check out those conversations because they're timeless. They're going to be just as relevant 3 years from now as they were the day we recorded them. So check them all out. And again, thank you for listening. All right, Dawn, let's start with the obvious today. Vikings at Detroit, Sunday night. A remarkable set of circumstances around this game.
Absolutely. I don't know about you, Jim, but you've been doing this longer than I have. I have never covered a team that is 14-2, let alone still in the regular season and facing another team that is 14-2. So it's the first time in NFL history that the combined points of two teams in a regular season game are going head to head. Now that's just if you're into lofty, all that stats and stuff. When I look at it very pragmatically, I'm like, wow, what a battle. It's like that, the commercial with the NFL script, right? They scripted it out this way. We're going to have it come down to the last game of the season, literally the last game of the regular season, because it's a Sunday night game for the number one seed, for the bye, for the home field advantage in the NFC. This is amazing. Now, the only thing is now the Vikings have to go on the road and do it, but they've been a great road team, Jim. So I'm just like, wow, if you want to come down to the end of the regular season, you want this battle. I can just see Roger Goodell and all, I think NBC now has the game since it's been flexed. Everyone's just salivating over this matchup. How about you?
Yeah. And, I've covered one team that was better than this or as good as this in the regular season. That was the 1998 Vikings, that went 15-1, easily won their first playoff game and then lost in heartbreaking fashion in the AFC Championship game. But this is so different. It's interesting. There are very dramatic similarities and very dramatic differences. The similarities are you basically have a veteran backup quarterback. It was Randall Cunningham back then, at what felt like was the end of his career, and Sam Darnold. Different kinds of players, different careers, but both veteran guys that get forced into action. You had injuries to the guys who you thought at some point would be the number one quarterbacks. Brad Johnson back then, J.J. McCarthy here. Both had great receivers, Moss and Jefferson. But that team we all knew was loaded. We all, Chris Carter, Randy Moss, Robert Smith, John Randall, Robert Griffin. I mean, we knew that team was loaded. This team is more of a pleasant surprise.
When you think about it and you break it down, I know everyone says, oh, no one expected this. I said, let's just kind of dive into it a little bit further. The teams that you were just mentioning are teams that came back after having experience with each other, So you take Sam Darnold in here, first year. Then you look at the defense, all the new guys they brought in there as well. Everyone just figured this would be kind of like a feeling it out kind of year. They did not put the moniker competitive rebuild on this season, and for a reason. They just did not know how it was going to go. But when I just look on the defensive side of the ball, when you have Van Ginkel, Cashman, Stephon Gilmore. You have all these veterans, Jonathan Grenard, that are coming in for the very first time and then meshing so well, playing so well. That for me was the biggest surprise. We've talked about this all year long. And then Sam Darnold, where everyone's just like, okay, is this lip service that Kevin O'Connell is giving him all this confidence? I don't know. I think if you listen to Kevin, even from training camp, and I even said this back in training camp, listen to how he talks about Sam Darnold. I go, I think we might have something good here. And like, now it's Sam Darnold. He's a placeholder and this and that. I'm like, listen, Kevin O'Connell tells you what he means in a creative way. And you know this, Jim, right? He always couches in his comments what he really means. He tells you the truth if you really listen. And so I don't think he was just giving him lip service at the beginning. I think he really liked what he saw early from Sam Darnold. Now, he was hoping Sam Darnold would have a good year and also help teach JJ McCarthy. Not that it's his job to teach JJ McCarthy, but when there's two guys and it's side by side, the rookie's going to learn regardless. And he didn't have that this year. So it's a really good problem to have that, you have this guy. What I like personally, and Jim, your question at the end of the game really brought him out of his shell. I would say the past month, I really enjoyed seeing Sam Darnold's personality. Now, his teammates said he's always had that with them all year long, and you can tell that because they love him. But he's let his guard down a little bit with us, and I really enjoy it, especially the whole Ricky Bobby comment and just how he's just smiling and yeah, man, and like his California's coming out, and I really enjoy that. And I think that's a good sign where this team is, where the quarterback is playing loose and playing well. I mean, you've seen it in history. That's what you want out of a team going into a game like this.
Yeah. And what again, let's go big picture here too. The Detroit Lions have never played in a Super Bowl. The Vikings haven't ever won a Super Bowl and haven't played in a Super Bowl since 1977. If I were a neutral NFL observer, if I were a fan in another market, I'd be sitting around going, okay, if my team can't make it, I want one of these teams to make the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. Detroit has gone through such turmoil as a city, and they've really rebuilt. It's a fun place to go now. It's a cool place to visit. Minnesota, Minneapolis has had its problems. I live in downtown Minneapolis. I love it here, and the fan bases are both they like describing themselves as tortured, but they're also having a blast. Viking fans travel like crazy. Viking fans fill up US Bank Stadium. Lion fans are very appreciative of what they have. I just think this is one of the best games that could highlight two of the best stories in sports.
Yeah, and let's just even go to the coaches. I mean, if you're just sitting on the couch and you're watching a game that the Lions are playing at all this year, I just love Dan Campbell. I mean, you do. And then people love Kevin O'Connell, and we enjoy him here too. Love him. So it's one of those things where if you're just an NFL purist, you love both sides of the ball going in. And I know Lions fans hate now the Vikings. Vikings hate them. I get it going into this game. But if you're just, like you're saying, the big picture and you're looking at it, it's not like, oh, I hope so-and-so loses. This guy's a jerk. It's like, no. On every level, this matchup is so great. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really happy to get out there and cover this game and see how it all goes down.
Yeah, I'm really fired up about it. This is going to be a blast. And let's spin it forward. I mean, the team can't look ahead. We can. The Vikings have a chance to be the number one seed in a playoff field where they don't really need to fear anybody else in that field. They have a chance to play 2 home games for a chance to go to the Super Bowl, which will be in a dome, which favors dome teams. I don't want to get out over my skis about expectations, but I do a lot of radio hits around the state, and I hear from fans, I hear from smaller town radio station, and as soon as the Vikings start playing well in any season, people get paranoid, and they're like, don't be paranoid. Look at the possibilities here. You're playing with house money here. There's a chance of something incredible happening.
You go in there, if you win, right? I mean, they only lost by 2 points last time. If you go in there and you win, you've got home field advantage until the Super Bowl. And this place here, US Bank Stadium, has been amazing. Amazing. So you're absolutely right. I do like how this 1-0 mentality is kind of like taking this town by storm. PJ Fleck's been saying it for a while, but just keeping it like 1-0, 1-0. That's what fans have to do, I think. But you have to look at the bigger picture and what their chances are and the way they're playing and how healthy this team is at this point. And then, you break down what this matchup is going to look like, right? I think the narrative out there is, oh, the Lions are all beat up and some people think, oh, they're just going to go in there and crush them. Well, that's not true. You saw them beat the 49ers, who are not an awesome team this year, but they got 40 points on them. Just because some guys are out doesn't mean like Gibbs isn't out, Williams isn't out, like, Amon-Ra St. Brown isn't out. Like, they've got people. And they've got, just like the Vikings, on both sides of the ball offensively. If one guy can't get it, the other guy can bite you. So maybe it's just the fans that are just listening and not really paying attention. They just listen to the water cooler talk, like, oh, they're so injured and the Vikings aren't. I'm like, yeah, good guys are injured, but they still have good guys on the field. So I don't know. Jim, let me ask you this. Are you concerned at all about Will Reichart?
You have to be somewhat. So I'm not so concerned that I think they need to do anything or say anything. It's just a bad time of the year. And I really think what happened here, I think this kid is great. I think he's really unflappable. I just think he dealt with coming back from an injury, getting back into a routine, having to reset his mindset, coming back for a team that's absolutely rolling. He's just a little off right now. And of course, you have to be concerned because a kick could absolutely decide any of these remaining games.
Right.
So am I concerned? Yes. Am I concerned enough that I think there's anything that can be done? No, I think they just got to hope.
Yeah. At first during the game, I was like, oh my gosh, I hope his quad is okay, right? I hope like he didn't re-injure something. Then he came back out and nailed the 50-yarder. So you just don't know. He's not on the injury report. So you just have to hope that, okay, it was just off that game and like that he's healthy. Because we know any division game, regular season or not, it always comes down to a kick or a couple of points. Like, it seemed a little weird for me. I don't know about you, Jim, but I liked it when the Vikings were up because it makes life easier, right? When they're up and you're like, oh, wow, like this is an unusual feeling that they're up like this over the Packers and they seem to be dominating. And then next thing you know, right, here they come. Here come the Packers. I'm like, oh, okay, now the world is kind of right again. Not in a doomsday kind of mode, but that's what we're used to. So I don't know. Not that all's right in the world that they only won by a slim margin, but that it's going to come down to that again against the Lions. So I just hope that the defense doesn't give up too much chunk yardage that they can't recover from in Detroit, and that the offense can find a way to. I know Justin Jefferson has been used as a decoy because they're going to double coverage him and blah, blah, blah. I just would love to see Jets get open and carve them up, but it's going to take some doing. But that would be just such a feel good also way to go into the playoffs. But I like how Addison's playing. Jalen Naylor is coming along. The fact that Cam Akers, who's such a good dude, got into the end zone. That also is a positive because you want these guys that are, second string, that kind of thing, to get this experience because they're going to need them in the playoffs.
Yep. All right. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun to be out there with you. Let's get to a few other topics here. Reminder, we are sponsored by Rudy Luther Toyota.
Ready for a women-forward car dealership? Rudy Luther Toyota empowers their many women on staff in sales, management, and service. Whether you are looking for a new Toyota or pre-owned vehicle, Rudy Luther Toyota has something for everyone. Every vehicle comes with a Luther Advantage. 10 cents off fuel and car wash discounts at holiday stations, Luther Advantage warranty and 5-day return policy on pre-owned vehicles. Located just 5 minutes west of downtown Minneapolis, off 394 and General Mills Boulevard. And they're also hiring. Want to join the team but don't know where to start? Visit RudyLutherToyota.com today.
We'll thank another long-running sponsor, Minnesota Masonic Charities.
When people think of the Freemasons, they often think of secret handshakes and unusual hats, and of course, the pancake breakfast. Minnesota Masonic Charities would prefer that you think about the work that they do right here in our community. Places like the Masonic Cancer Center at the University of Minnesota or the Masonic Children's Hospital and the Masonic Home in Bloomington. They are just a few examples of the important work that the Freemasons support here in Minnesota. As part of the largest fraternal organization in the world, Masons have consistently answered the call when it comes to charitable needs. I am happy that Minnesota Masonic Charities has chosen Minnesota Bound and this podcast as a place to help spread the word. We look forward to learning so much more about their many programs here in the weeks to come.
And now Natrium, Natrium.com. Dawn always likes listening to these ads because I get so excited.
Your BFF?
My BFFs. Reminder, the variety they have. They have balms. They have antifungal stuff. They have anti-infectious stuff, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. They have stuff that helps with muscle pain, with arthritis, with tendonitis. They have stuff that will help with pain relief within 15 minutes. It's stuff that you can apply right on your sore muscle or joint. It all smells good. It feels good. You can get oils that help out with your gut health. You have relief for headaches and migraines. You have quick fixes. If you're the kind of person who has stressful situations, you can kind of alleviate that. And of course, what I use these products for mostly, I do use the muscle anti-inflammatory muscle stuff. I have achy legs at night. When I use that stuff and just rub it on my legs, it tends to really help. And I also use their sleep stuff, the Carpe Diem, the Goodnight Moon. My wife uses it as well. Highly recommend the whole thing. And go to a Natrium shop or go to a Wildflower shop and talk to the sales executives there. They will be able to steer you to there are hundreds of products, incredible number of drinks, gummies, candies, et cetera, et cetera. They'll be able to steer you in the right direction. And then it'll really help a lot, help me a lot to go there and talk to the sales executives. So go do that. Check out the stock they have at natrium.com. Check out their locations. And again, I highly recommend it. And once again, we're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studios. Let's get into a couple of sad things before we wrap up with some more lighthearted stuff. The passing of Greg Gumbel. I didn't really know Greg. I obviously enjoyed watching him over the years, but I think you had a relationship with him.
Yes. When, before I got on air, it's just end of my college years, I worked for CBS when they had the baseball package, right? So that's going back a little bit. And the first 2 years, I was a stage manager. It was Jim Cott and Dick Stockton. And then the last 2 years I did it was Jim Cott and Greg Gumbel. And when you work with someone and you're young and you're behind the scenes and you get the name Greg Gumbel, right? I already had Dick Stockton. I was like, wow, I learned so much from him. Greg Gumbel came in so kind, so nice, so supportive, and was so helpful. But what I really learned from him, Jim, because, you're young and you're figuring out, do I want to be in this business? And on the Boston scene and on the network scene, just seeing how people treated each other. Some people were amazing, but some people were, you saw the cutthroat, right? That you always hear about. And I was like, ooh, I really wasn't sure that I want to get into this business. Actually, I had a college roommate that said, you're going to go in there, they're going to trample all over you, Dawn, because I was just, in my personal life, I'm just kind of laid back, right?
Yep.
And that I'm more laid back in my personal life. At work, you have to be, all right, I got to get this done, XYZ, let's go, go, go. So I remember thinking, I don't know if this business is for me. What I'm seeing these people do. And granted, when I first started, Jim, I did not have any inkling to go on air in front of the camera. I'm like, wow, I can get paid to be a, stage manager and a producer, and I can wear jeans and I don't have to put makeup on every day. I mean, I was excited. But what I learned from Greg Gumbel is how he treated people. Here he is, top of his game, network, kind to everyone. funny as hell. A lot of the stories I cannot share, but just amazing. And I was like, wow, like what they say, how you treat people that you don't get, you're not getting anything from, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever that expression is.
Mm-hmm.
He showed me that firsthand, and everyone at CBS did. I mean, Bob Fishman, who was the director, and Bob Dekas, who's the producer. These are guys that do like the Final Four and Super Bowls and, World Series. And they were amazing. And they didn't treat me like, oh, here's this young stage manager behind the scenes, whatever's. They're like, Dawn, you coming to dinner with us? Hey, Dawn, what do you think about this topic? Hey, what do you like? Just input and kindness. And I was like, these are the people at the top of their game. And Greg was a leader in that. And he also, and I'll never forget this, even though we worked CBS, the Game of the Week baseball, we also did the College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska. And I remember I was in the production truck and I got a phone call, and I was basically offered my very first on-air job, and it was at Nesson. And I was a little like, huh? Because I didn't apply for it. I thought they wanted me to write and produce for the show. And Bob Whitelaw, who was the boss of Nesson back then, I adore him. He was like, and anchor? I was like, what? Yeah, kid, you're writing everything and handing it off for other people to say. Why don't you just say it yourself? Like, that was the conversation. So I was kind of in a daze, and I got out of the production truck, and here comes this car pulling up, and it's Leslie Visser and Greg Gumbel. And they roll down the windows, and Lee's like, you all right? And I go, yeah, I think I just got my very first on-air job, because Leslie kept saying, you need to be on air. You need to be on air. And Greg goes, you could do it. Your writing is amazing. Da, 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 da. And the way he put that car in park so fast, they both jumped out of the car. He ran around, gave me this hug. And like, these are just memories that you have for your lifetime. And, there's just so many Greg Gumbel stories that even years later, here we are at the Dome, and he had just finished calling a game. And you know how they do the escape route? They have to make their flight. So you know how it was in the small little like bowels of the Dome. He'd be on the back truck of like one of those golf cart thingies, and he was like, no, stop, and he hopped off and had Dawn, in the middle of a crowded Dome in downtown Minneapolis. He didn't have to do that. This is how many years later. I'm so proud of you. He was just that guy. He was that guy.
Well,
you could yell across to him when we hosted the Final Four here at Target Center, and I'm like, Greg, and he turns around, stands up, blows a kiss. Some people would be like, yeah, I can't remember that girl's name. I worked with her 15 years ago. Not Greg Gumbel. So I had to hold it together during work, because we saw it come across the wire. But I was really sad when I got home. But better to have known him. He's just a shining light forever.
Well, thank you for telling us about him. It's sad. All we can do when somebody passes is remember, what they were really like and what they brought to the world. So I appreciate you telling us about them.
Yeah. And I'll tell you the other stories off.
Yes.
He's just hilarious.
Somebody, I spoke to a Rotary Club recently. They're like, tell us your best stories. I said, no, I can't.
We can't.
I can tell you some okay stories that you might like with some big names in them, but I can't tell you the good stuff.
And not that there's anything bad, but they usually involve other people that are still alive, and you know.
Yep.
Right.
I'm never writing a tell-all. I couldn't do it.
Never. I am like the vault. I don't share things I shouldn't share, and the stories that should remain off record are off record.
Yep.
Right.
Another sad note before we get to some really cool stuff. New Orleans. I love New Orleans. I've spent a lot of time in New Orleans professionally, a little bit of time down there personally. Love the music scene, the restaurant scene. I don't spend a lot of time on Bourbon Street, and just because it's not my scene. But it is a great place to walk through when you're at a big event. Just see the melting pot of people having a great time there. And what is suspected to be a terrorist attack, somebody in a truck intentionally drove into a crowd on Bourbon Street, killed at least 10 people, injured many more, and exchanged gunfire with cops, was killed. and FBI does think this is some kind of a terrorist plot. We're waiting for more details. That's about all we know right now. But man, talk about being sad. Horrific loss of life. Horrific event, and also happening in a place where there's so much joy. So people just have such a great time down there. I'm so sad.
So much joy, and it's New Year's, and it's the holidays still, and all I kept thinking of is I've been on Bourbon Street, and
Yeah.
for people who haven't been there, it's not for like the hedonistic crowd. I mean, so you're just there to be like, wow, this is a spectacle. This is fun. Everyone is happy. You're talking to strangers. You're just enjoying yourself. If you're like me, you hop into a place and sing a karaoke tune and get the heck out of there. And even with Fox 9, when we were there for the NFC Championship game, we were positioned right there, right off Bourbon Street was our truck. And our shot was Bourbon Street right behind us, the whole, so we would be on the rooftop of one of the restaurants. And for the whole week we were there. And so you just get to know the people and the people that work there, and just, that whole situation down there. And when I woke up to the news today, like my heart just sunk, thinking, and they're holding another Super Bowl there this year.
Yep.
And now it's casting a pall over the city, those poor families that have to deal with that. I just think, what is a safe place in this world anymore?
I know. And the places that we all want to gather are exactly the kind of places that terrorists will target. I don't know that there's any solution to that. I will also say this, just as there are a lot of people who won't come to Minneapolis because there are a couple of blocks that you probably shouldn't go to after 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I love Minneapolis. I walk around late at night. I do go to all the restaurants, bars, coffee shops, events without any problem at all. New Orleans, you can go to New Orleans and have the time of your life and never walk on Bourbon Street. You can go to great restaurants. You can go to great other sections of town. So I wouldn't, just as I wouldn't tell anybody not to come to Minneapolis, I wouldn't, even if you read something in the newspaper that bothers you, I wouldn't ever tell anybody not to go to New Orleans. You just might not want to hang out where the most obvious crowds are.
Yeah, I know. It's a shame that you have to do that.
Yeah.
And I send my condolences to all the families involved and to the city.
All right. Well, we dealt with the sad stuff we felt like we needed to deal with. Let's talk about some more hopeful stuff. Nafisa Collier started to be an athlete of the year for obvious reasons, and highlights a great year in women's sports where Caitlin Clark took the world by storm. The Minnesota Frost come on and make a big impact, joining the Minnesota Auroras, another great local women's sports team. The Lynx come within 1 point, one call, we might say, of winning the WNBA title. Now we have Nafisa Collier's unrivaled league starting up here shortly. It's a great time to enjoy and care about women's sports.
Can I just give a shout out to Fee for many different reasons, right? There's a lot of women in the league that have kids, which I still find incredible.
Yeah.
What your body comes through, excuse me, and to come back and just not only reclaim your status in terms of your talent, but then to just go into the stratosphere with her talent. And I think now the national stage is figuring out who Fee is, and we've known for a while. But to also be such a boss to form a league, right? While you're playing, no less. A lot of people do that after, when I retire, maybe I'll go into the business side of doing this. I think that she's just amazing, and she couldn't be a nicer person. And I'm so happy for her that she's getting her due in many respects. And she's just scratching the surface, so every time I see her, I'm just like, she is a boss. I love it.
Yeah, I can't believe what she did coming back from her pregnancy, and then what she did the year after her pregnancy. She really did go from she's gone from being a nice college player to the 6th pick in a draft in a league where it's hard for people who get picked at that spot to make teams or make an impact, to being a rookie of the year, to being an all-star, to being an Olympian. And honestly, that would have been great, right? If that was her peak, really good player, all-star Olympian, that is a great career. That's a great life. And then she just keeps getting better, where she is a superstar now. She's as good as anybody in the league. I know Asia Wilson is a little more productive offensively, but really, what they did for their teams, I thought Nafisa Collier had the better year this year. She almost carried a team that had no expectations to the championship, and now she's starting her own league. This is the great thing about sports. We spend a lot of time, people ask our predictions. The point of sports is the unpredictable stuff. Nobody could have predicted any of this.
Yeah, I love it. I know Gino liked her, but I think she made some comment about, he didn't think I could do X, Y, and Z things, Gino, or something like that, like in a loving way.
Yeah.
She's I hope that the Lynx can just kind of get back on that horse and she can lead them to a championship and she can have that to hang her hat on as well. So
all she has left to do is about the only thing she hasn't done.
Oh, just wait. You say that. She'll come out with something else.
She probably will. But I mean, if she wins a championship,
it's free.
The bingo card will be full, All right.
I'm also looking forward to the Minnesota Frost.
Yes. Let's wrap up the show with this. And by the way, thanks again to everybody who has made the show a success, the network a success. Thanks for listening to Dawn of Sports. Thanks to our sponsors. And if you like our shows, tell somebody about them, spread the word. Go to talknorth.com, check out our great lineup, outdoor content as well as sports. All right, Dawn, tell us about our friend coming to town.
Okay, so I almost got ahead of myself. I remember I was so excited telling you, hey, I know that New York is coming to town, and one of my friend's daughters, and she's a friend of the program, has been on our show, Elle Harchie. She's with the Sirens. This is her rookie year. She was drafted. Her dad, Todd, is from Anoka. I don't know if you have heard that interview. If you want to go back and listen to it, she's so great. Well, they come to town the 4th, but tomorrow, so we're recording this, obviously the first of the year, Boston, that rivalry, boom, boom, boom. Remember, that's who they had to play. And we thought we won and then we didn't win. And then we had to go to Boston to win. The rematch is tomorrow. Now, Boston isn't having as strong of a season as they did last year at the moment, but it's still early in the season. So they have back-to-back games at home, which is pretty cool. So they'll have Thursday, they're facing Boston, and then the 4th, it's New York. So East Coast comes to town. And I'm looking forward to that. I love when new leagues already have these kind of, rivalries kind of set up. So I'm hoping that both of them are great games. And there's so many cool people. I know Tracy McDonald, who works for the Vikings, her niece also plays for the Frost. And if you're hockey fans at all, this is going back a little bit. Bobby Carpenter, who, by the way, was the first American-born hockey player to go from high school to the NHL.
Yep.
I believe that's a stat. I remember that from when I was younger. His daughter, Alex Carpenter, plays for New York. So I just love seeing a lot of these young women come up. And now that we're talking about them in pro sports, like so-and-so's dad played pro and now his daughter is. So just to see those links that we've seen by guys in history over and over again, just to see that now coming through with the PWHL, I really like that. Cool. I love hockey, so it's good to see.
Yes. So we have a lot that we'll be covering this year. And we'll do a lot of interviews. Sometimes we'll just do a chat like this, but Dawn's interviews are incredible. And again, if you're looking through the list of people she's interviewed, the names you might not recognize are great interviews, and they might tell you something about life or business or the media business or perseverance or something else. I just highly recommend. They're all very inspiring. So check those all out. So in capping this New Year's Day show, you'll probably be listening to it afterward, but I want to thank Dawn for all of her work. I want to thank everybody at talknorth.com for their work. And let's all have a great new year. Dawn, you have
Jim, before we go, I got a tag. We're not doing a FTG, but this is more of a curiosity.
Okay.
instead. I wanted to get your take. Maybe you haven't seen it, and maybe our listeners have. So I'm just going to cap it out there. If you had a preconceived notion of Aaron Rodgers before you go in and you see his Netflix documentary that's on there right now called Enigma, I think it will open your eyes. He's how do I put this? Unfiltered honesty. It's only 3 episodes. It's not a big investment. If you're like, I can't do another series, I'm still on blah, 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 Yellowstone. It was awesome. I was highly impressed. Yeah.
Okay.
I know people just want to hate him, but it's really well done. He's so honest. You still might not like him afterwards if you don't like him to begin with. But to be honest, like, he doesn't really care, and that's refreshing. But he doesn't really care in not a mean way. Like, you really see kind of what he's gone through and the different sides of things, and I think it's cool. I think you should check it out. I highly enjoyed it. I was like, huh, okay, all right, that makes sense. That's wow, that kind of thing.
Oh, cool. Okay, well, we'll check it out. Thanks for all the great stuff, Don, and looking forward to another cool year with you.
Happy New Year, Jim.
Happy New Year, and I'll see you in Detroit.
All right, thank you.